Hey everyone, welcome to Cupboard Creations. My name is Gareth and this is my little corner of the internet for playing my food. Today I'm doing something really super quick and simple. So this is a kind of pasta dish that really kind of embodies what I wanted with this channel, which is to create these cupboard creations. You know, you go into the cupboard, it's a weekday, you're thinking, what have I got to cook? You realise you've forgotten to do the shopping and you just grab some bits out of there and kind of make something out of it. So this is a tomato and basil based pasta, kind of based on Napolitana type pasta, but a few little extras in there to really give it a massive punch of flavour. So we start really simple, cherry tomatoes. You want about 250 grams of these. And what we're going to do is just pop them all off and chop them all in half. Okay, so that's my cherry tomatoes all chopped. Now you can do it without, you can just do it with 18 kind of chopped tomatoes or plum tomatoes. Works just as well. You get a more kind of thicker tomato-y sauce. I just love it with these little cherries. And this all came from having, I think it was like one of those veg deliveries, a load of cherry tomatoes in there. Didn't know what to do with them. So just pulled this together. So the next thing you're going to need is garlic. Kind of always want garlic with this sort of stuff. So you want 2 good cloves of garlic and then just chop them up nice and small. Okay, so there we go. Tomatoes and garlic done. Next thing, olives. Now you can use any type of olives. They'll all work. I always just love these kind of the Greek kalamata olives. They're kind of, I suppose they're halfway between the black olive and the green olive really. And these purple olives. So just going to get probably a dozen of these. And then all we're going to do again is just chop them up in little bits, probably cut them into thirds, kind of like them in little rings. Works quite well. Brilliant, they're done. So now, anchovies. Now, I'm never going to get into this, bear with me. There we go, finally into the jar. So anchovies just give this like a really kind of massive hit of flavour, but it doesn't taste fishy. So don't worry too much if you hate them. My wife is not a big fan of anchovies, but absolutely loves this. So kind of add just like a bit of seasoning. But we're going to use a fair few. So we're going to use 6 anchovy fillets, if you can get them out of the jar once you finally manage to open the jar. Come on. There we go. And we're just going to chop these up in little bits. Don't have to be really rough with it, because once they hit the pan they'll really kind of melt down and they just create, like I said, a seasoning for it. It just, yeah, really just punches you in the taste buds. Okay, that's almost all we've got to prepare. All you're going to need now is some basil. And you might want to, just before you prep it, just pop all the leaves off that you need. I'm going to use a 30 gram pack of basil here, so you can use quite a lot. But you're just going to use the leaves whole, no chopping. Just kind of grab them and they'll create almost like you would if you were using wilted spinach in something. They're just going to go throughout that sauce and kind of give you these little bursts of basil flavour. There we go, get rid of that. So that's it. That's all of my ingredients for this kind of pasta sauce, all done. We can start heading over now and start putting it all together. Okay, so now we're just going to cook it. So what I've done, just got my pasta on. This whole thing can be done all at the same time. It will take you as long to cook the pasta as it will to make the sauce. So I've just got about 160 grams of spaghetti in there. You can use any pasta for this. It's yours, you know, do what you like with it. But I just kind of like the spaghetti. It kind of sticks quite well to the outside of it. So for the sauce, you want a good glug of olive oil. So probably going to put about 3 tablespoons in. Just kind of really helps give it that little bit of, I don't know, richness and yeah, just like a lot of olive oil in it. So we'll pick that up. And then straight away, first off my little plate of lovely ingredients is to put the garlic in. So we can pop that in. Just know half of this is going to go everywhere if I keep doing that. And we're just going to cook that for about 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, till it starts to soften down. So, I'll just keep watching it. Catch you in a sec. Okay, some garlic's had its couple of minutes. It's kind of softening down nicely, but we don't want it to go brown. We don't want it to kind of overcook. So now we just pop those anchovies in. And at this point, just want to turn it up a little bit. I'm just going to fry them off quite quickly until they start to kind of break apart. It should happen in another minute or two. Okay, so that anchovy is good now. It's all kind of fallen apart a bit. And almost like creates a mush at the bottom. You know, it won't hold its shape. And that's good because we want it to go all throughout the sauce. We don't want like little nuggets of it. It's our seasoning. So now, add in your tomatoes. I say, at this point if you're using tin tomatoes, just whack them in, not a problem. And then we're going to cook these down for about 8 minutes. Just until they've kind of softened up nicely. A lot of the juice has come out, kind of created what looks like a sauce. It's getting hot working here. So, I'll do that. And if you're wondering why there's a weird spoon in my spaghetti, if you've got one of these kind of just normal saucepans and you try and do all your stuff in it, I don't know if you find, but you'll always have, trying to get a little gap so it doesn't boil over. And it just kind of, the steam builds up, it slides the lid back on and it goes everywhere. Just spoon underneath. It means you can adjust how much gap there is and it never falls down. Don't know why I came up with that, just did. So, I'm going to crack on with these, catch you in a sec. Okay, so my pasta's done now, sauce is pretty much there. Just going to add in those last 2 ingredients. So when you're cooking it, you want it to break down a little bit, so don't be scared to give it a bit of a push every now and again if you're using cherry tomatoes. Just squeeze those juices out and that will create a really nice sauce. So now we're just going to pop in our olives and pop in our basil. And then, of course, a little bit of salt and pepper. Always want a little bit of this. So, a bit of salt, fairly generous. You don't need to go crazy with it, you shouldn't, because of those anchovies. They're going to add so much flavour in there. You won't miss the meat in this. And that's what I love about this sauce. It's just kind of, it's so strong and so flavourful, and it's so cheap, and it's just from stuff you can have in your cupboard. So, a little bit of black pepper. Okay, fair amount of black pepper. We're just going to stir that in, and you're going to wait for that basil to wilt down. So almost kind of looks like, yeah, like I said, like spinach, wilted spinach. Won't take more than a couple of seconds. Okay, that's nicely wilted down. It's nice and hot. Just toss your pasta in. So we're going to whack that in there, give it a great big stir around. So always add the pasta to the sauce and not the other way around, just because all the flavour's in that pan, not in that pan, basically. I'm sure there's a decent, proper reason why, but that's the one that makes sense to me. There we go. Turn that off, it's all done. We can just serve ourselves up now. Nice and easy. So, grab yourself some of this. And it's not like a really gloopy sauce, it's not going to cover it. It's just going to stick to everything. But those flavours will carry all through that pasta. You will definitely be able to taste it. So there we go. It's my pasta with tomato and basil. I think that's what I'm going to call it. I should probably call it pasta with tomato, basil, olives, anchovies. But that's never going to fit on a YouTube video title. So you'll find out what I call it when the video comes out. But there it is. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you give it a go. It's really worth it, this one. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.